Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to start with Vanderbilt head coach Tim Corbin. Again, when you first ask your question, please identify yourself and your affiliation. We are going to start with a short statement from the head coach as we get ready with today's CWS Championship Series press conference. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Yep, I'm going to start with North Carolina State first, and we certainly sympathize with Elliot, Chris, Clint, Joey, their staff, their team, their fan base too, understanding that we don't know the level of hurt that they're exposed to right now, but we certainly recognize it. None of us wish to be in this particular position. We're one of the 6 teams that were matched up with them. We certainly would want to play them on the field or have played them on the field, but we didn't. So we're in a situation where we move forward. We've lost one time. We've handled our business appropriately. We've tried to stay in our lane as best we possibly can. We're grateful to be in the championship series against a team that we're familiar with and played during the course of the year. So we'll move forward.
Okay, we're going to move to questions. And again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question today. Our first question is going to be from Eric Olson.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hey, Tim, being at a private university, are you able to require your guys to be vaccinated?
We're very comfortable with the situation that we've gone through during the course of the year. I've spent a lot of time educating the group on what this process could potentially look like at the beginning of the year. We're certainly comfortable with where we are and what we've done.
Our next question comes from Joe Rexrod.
Yeah, sorry. Tim, real quick, going back to Friday, when you found out about NC State's situation, what were the discussions between you and NCAA officials? What were you told, and did you have any input at all?
Not much. They were handling a situation with North Carolina State. We were told the game was going to be delayed. Kumar was already in the bullpen. He was getting ready to pitch. We couldn't give him much information outside of the fact that this was going to be delayed. We did not have a hard start time, so we had no idea when that would be. We knew there was a health issue, but we didn't know what it was, nor, I guess, should we. We just knew that the game was going to be delayed. But our players didn't know much, so we kept them back and in the locker room and just waited until we got some type of word. And then I would say 45 minutes to an hour, it was probably about 45 minutes, we were told that the game would start in 45 minutes. So we let our pitcher know and let the team know, and they regrouped and took the field.
Next question comes from Steve Lehman.
Hi, Tim. We've talked before about how emotional this time of year is and the ups and downs and the adversity you go through. Is there any way to describe or compare what Friday afternoon to Friday night, early Saturday morning? I mean, were you guys even awake when the decision was made late Friday night into Saturday morning, and now trying to recenter from that craziness for the biggest series of the year?
Well, no one was awake. I woke up at about 1:30 and found a message from Candace and regarding the NCAA's decision. And at that point right there, I rolled over and woke my wife up, and we stayed up the rest of the night and just talked because we wanted to process it. Just because I felt like when the boys woke up, I wanted to give them some type of information. And that's really all I cared about was them. As far as getting up and seeing that type of message with the understanding that they were going to play and then not playing, I just wanted to get to them as quickly as possible, so we did. And I'm sure it was a little bit confusing, but we used yesterday as a day to talk through it, and I told them that once we get to the ballpark today that we move forward, just like life. There's nothing you can do about it. Life circumstances happen, you deal with them, move forward.
Our next question is from Aria Gerson.
Tim, what have you seen out of Luke Murphy throughout this whole College World Series in terms of just, coming in and shutting down so many times out of the bullpen?
The ability to contain his emotions. I think when you're put in that position, very rarely do you come into a situation that is clean. Often you come into a situation that is very tight and the temperature of the game is hot. He's done a very good job of getting into those environments and throwing strikes, and very committed strikes at that. He's not trying to feel his way around. You get to this level and you get to this part of the year and you can go through any bullpen, whether it's Mississippi State or Vanderbilt or Texas for that matter, since I just got done watching that game last night and watching Quintanilla throw. You get kids that are marksmen. They come in, they know what they're going to do, they know how to land their pitches, and they do it with commitment, and that's what Luke does.
And what is it like seeing him succeed, knowing, he's been through injury and COVID cancellations, and especially being, from Tennessee?
I love when any of our kids succeed. Doesn't matter who it is. So I'm happy for Luke, but I love when every single one of our kids succeed.
Our next question will go to Kayla Anderson.
Good morning, Coach. Just on the note of your players and these guys processing everything, and you said, it's time to move on, taking that next step. How have they processed it? It's been a little bit of a unconventional College World Series with things that they've gone through. So how are they doing as a group?
They're doing fine. I mean, it's all your perspective on things. I mean, the world didn't end. We're playing baseball. I mean, that's for us. We get to move forward. I understand the other side. I do. We're very empathetic and very sympathetic to that. But we have no control over that, regardless of what anyone insinuates or what anyone says. We're just playing baseball. That's all we can do. We can stay in our lane. But the kids are fine. I mean, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are spending the last days with one another, and they're enjoying their ability to be here. I mean, this isn't easy to do. This isn't easy to get out here and play in this environment and play well. And you can see the two teams that are matched up against one another. I mean, they've played good baseball, but both teams are hitting about 215, and that's because the pitching's so good out here. And you got great hitters on either side. We're fine. They just want to play again.
Yeah, our next question is from Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Tim, how confident are you that Kumar can come back, if there is a game 3 on short rest and, be fully effective? And how does his work in the off season and, preseason training and stuff set him up to be able to do that in a big situation like this?
Confident.
Okay, we'll next go to Drake Keeler.
Hi. So Mississippi State has changed their route in entering their hotel to kind of minimize interactions with fans and such. Are you guys making any adjustments to your personal COVID protocols to keep your players safe heading into the championship?
We're in the DoubleTree. We're fine.
Our next question goes to Clinton Yates.
Hey, Coach. Question about one of your players, Javi Vaz. The guy's moved up. He's moved up in the lineup. He's performed tremendously well. Can you tell me a little bit about just how he's turned it on, not just this postseason, but specifically in the College World Series as well?
He's a good little player. He's earned the right to be out there. He's stayed very focused and diligent towards what he's doing. I think the unique part about kids like that come on at the end of the season is they never lose their spirit and personality during it. And I think oftentimes when you're a kid that doesn't see his name on the lineup card for March and April, your spirit can dampen. That's never been the case with this kid. He's very well respected. He's very well liked on our team. He's got a very positive spirit around him. And he has fun when he plays, and you like that. I'm not going to compare the two kids because I don't like comparing kids, but yet in some ways I want to compare them because it's a compliment to both kids. But there's a Tony Kemp element to him, and there's a Javi Vaz element to Tony. They're very positive people. They play with a lot of bounce and enjoy the game. And anytime you get kids that love to play the game, they model those behaviors to 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, which there's a pile of those kids here right now that get to see those kids play, and that's really how you should play the game of baseball, with that sense of love.
Next, we'll go to Chris Harris.
Hey, Tim, you mentioned about being familiar, obviously, with Mississippi State, played them 3 times this year. I wonder if you can tell us since then, maybe what you have seen, and even up in this run in the College World Series, about what kind of has made them so dangerous and led them on this path.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed much. I think they're just a very consistent ball club. I mean, that's a seasoned team. They've got offensive players that have played a long time. I mean, Rowdy and Tanner are very, very good players. And I just mentioned those two because we played against them in 2018 in that super at Nashville. But, you know, you go through their lineup, they're like us. They've just got some really good players who compete really well. Their pitching staff is like ours. I mean, they've got quality starters. They've got quality arms out of the bullpen. They take care of the baseball. And they've been there. You know, like Vanderbilt, they've been there. They may have a few more pieces that have been playing on the field than Vanderbilt, but at the same time, they've been to the College World Series before. They've experienced. They know what it feels like, and they know how to operate. Very good team.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson.
Hey, Coach, here again. And just your thoughts on an all SEC College World Series final. I know exciting for the conference and probably exciting for you guys too.
It is exciting that way, and it's you know, as far as the SEC is concerned, we're very proud to be in the conference, but we don't stand here, beat ourselves on the chest, and say this is the best conference in the country. I mean, that what you do is what you do. We're very proud to be part of something that is celebrated for the kids and on a network and by how we play the game of baseball. But at the same time, it's joyous for both communities to be here together. We certainly respect Mississippi State a great deal. I enjoy their fan base. We have many friends from Mississippi State, and we'll stay that way. But we're just proud. We're proud to represent our bracket, number one. And I think if moving forward from the great teams that were here in our bracket and then to play here at the end, and so happens to be lined up against a very good opponent, we're grateful and fortunate.
We'll go to David White.
Hey, Coach. How does your starting pitching set up this week, and is Christian Little a factor in the rotation?
Starting pitching sets up fine, and everyone's a factor.
We're going to have time for 2 more questions. First will be from Steve Lehman.
Tim, you guys have played some significant games, even in the postseason, against Mississippi State in recent years. I know you've got a young team that a lot of them have only really played that series back a couple months ago, but is this developing into a pretty good rivalry given all the stakes that you've played against them?
I mean, they're just a good opponent. What a rivalry is, I have no idea. I like the fact that we play very good baseball in a good conference, and the fact that we potentially could play them 5 times, 6 times, what have you, is fine. It's a good thing for our conference, but we enjoy playing good opponents, and Mississippi State is more than a good opponent. Tremendous competitors.
Final question for Coach today is from Chris Harris.
Tim, just to clarify, is Jack your guy tomorrow?
I have not clarified that, and I've never said that. We'll see how he feels today, and then we'll determine who's going to pitch. But we need time today. These kids have thrown as of late, and we just take care of the health of the kids first before we determine who's going to start.
Okay, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
We will be followed shortly by Kumar Rocker. Again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question. Okay, joining us now is Kumar Rocker. We're going to go straight to questions, and the first one is from Chris Harris.
Hey, Kumar, what does it mean to you to get back here on this stage and the team to get back here on this stage?
I think it means a lot for everybody, and especially for my class. Those guys have waited 2 years to play in this spot, and those are my guys. I'm excited for them.
Our next question comes from Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Kumar, not just you, but also Jack, obviously faced Mississippi State earlier in the season. What type of stuff do you learn, and what can you take from that when you've already faced a team once and have a pretty good idea of their hitters and all that?
Mississippi State doesn't like to strike out very much.
Okay, next we'll go to Area Gerson.
How did you find out that, yesterday's game had been called off, and what was your reaction when you heard the news?
I heard the news in the hotel room, and I was upset about it. And that's pretty much it. I feel sorry for NC State.
Okay, next we'll go to Steve Lehman.
Kumar, you're really the one guy on this team that had a significant impact on the team that won the championship 2 years ago. Over the last 2 years, did you have doubts or confidence that you could be back in this position today?
I had a very open mind about it. You see the pieces in the fall, you see the spring, and the guys know where we're going to end up, and we're here right now.
Next question is from John Sokoloff.
Hey, Kumar. Last time against State, you threw a complete game. You only allowed one run. That's a really good lineup and a really good team that you beat earlier. I know you're probably a little bit of a different pitcher now, but what do you kind of remember from that outing, and what can you kind of take away from that in any time that you end up seeing in this series?
Mississippi State doesn't like to strike out a lot.
Okay, do we have any more questions for Kumar? Kumar, thank you for your time. We're going to be joined next by Dominic Keegan. Again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to ask a question. Our first question for Dominic is from Chris Lee.
Dominic, what do you remember about Mississippi State's pitching and what made them particularly difficult from the 3 games you played earlier?
They're competitors. All the guys throw pretty hard, and they got good breaking stuff. So.
Our next question is from Area Gerson.
Dominic, what's it as a member of the 2019 team, but who wasn't necessarily in the starting lineup? What is it like for you to be back here in Omaha as a starter, kind of leading your own team, back into the College World Series finals?
It means great. I think a lot of guys in this program go through different roles in their time here. And I think I served a role my freshman year that's different than this year. But it feels the same to be on a team that, cares about what they do and goes out there and competes every day.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson.
Hey, Dom, just your overall assessment of, the offensive production so far in the College World Series and how maybe to heat up those bats a little more going into this final against Mississippi State.
Just stop putting pressure on ourselves. We're here for a reason. We earned our spot here, and we got here because of our abilities and what we can do. So just not putting pressure on ourselves and, just having fun. When this group's having fun, I think we're at our best. So.
Next, we'll go to Robbie Weinstein.
Hey, Dom, if we're being honest, a lot of, fans, especially outside of Nashville, probably at this point will be rooting against you guys. And I know you're on social media and stuff like that. How do you, as a leader of the team, talk to your guys about how to compartmentalize that and ignore that and tune out the noise and stuff?
That's fine. We're not really worried about that. We're worried about ourselves and what we can do and, just compete.
Next, we'll go to Steve Lehman.
Dominic, you guys have played some really important series against Mississippi State over the last few years, both in the regular season and then seeing them in the postseason. Has this developed into a little bit more of a rivalry than just the typical SEC type weekend? And then to add into that, how important is game one tomorrow night to getting off to a good start?
I think we're just two teams that are very talented and like to compete. No one's going to give in to one another. So I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry, but I just call it two teams that are very talented and like to compete, like I said. Every game's important, so I wouldn't say game one is more important than game 2 or 3, You kind of just go out there and you compete every single day.
Next, we'll go back to Kayla Anderson.
Sorry, I left my hand up there. My apologies.
Okay, we will go to Chris Harris.
Hey, Dom, just curious how you guys spent the day yesterday processing everything that went on, and at what point did you kind of turn the page, and how did you do that?
We hung out with one another. We went and ate. Nothing really out of the ordinary. We kind of just hung out. But we took the news in. We heard it from Corbs. We met about it, and then we put it past us.
Have any more questions for Dominic? Dominic, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That concludes our availability with Vanderbilt. Mississippi State will be in shortly with head coach Chris Lamanis, Tanner Allen, and Christian McLeod. Again, these